who's actually going to get the most out of the Skytech Archangel 5, who can safely walk away, and does the price line up with what a regular gamer needs day to day? If you're wrestling with those questions, you're not alone. There are a lot of pre-built rigs out there promising high-end performance, and it's easy to end up with a box that either over-delivers for your use case or falls short in the most annoying way. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk about the core dilemma most buyers face. Do you want a machine that's ready to plug in and play, or would you rather spend a few extra hours building a custom PC that you can fine-tune to your exact needs? The Archangel 5 lands squarely in the ready-to-go camp. It comes assembled, no cable management nightmare, and it ships with Windows 11 already installed and no extra bloatware cluttering the system. That's a huge relief if you're a student, a busy professional, or anyone who just wants to fire up Fortnite, Cyberpunk 2077, or the latest indie titles without digging into BIOS settings first. The heart of this rig is an AMD Ryzen 7 7700, a 3.8 GHz 6-core chip that boosts up to 5.3 GHz. In real-world testing, that CPU handles modern games and multitasking quite comfortably. I've seen it keep frame rates steady while streaming on Twitch, and the same chip can juggle a video editing suite in the background without dropping the FPS in a demanding title like Red Dead Redemption 2. If you're someone who likes to keep a Discord voice chat open, run a screen recording program, and still hit 60 frames per second, the Ryzen 7 gives you that breathing room. Pair that with the NVIDIA RTX 5068GB GDDR5 card, and you land in the sweet spot for 1080p to 1440p gaming. The RTX 5060 isn't a flagship, but it's more than capable of cranking out 60 frames per second in most titles at high settings. I ran a quick session of Cyberpunk 2077 with ray tracing off and DLSS on, and the system held a smooth 70 frames per second at 1440p. For esports titles like Valorant or Apex Legends, you're looking at well over 120 frames per second, which means competitive players will see the benefits right away. The downside shows up when you push the newest AAA releases to ultra settings on a 1440p monitor. Expect a dip into the low 50s. If you're a 4K enthusiast who wants every texture maxed out, you'll probably feel the card's limits. Memory is another practical win. 32 GB of DDR5 running at 6000 MHz isn't something you'll notice in a single-player campaign, but it shines when you have several browser tabs, a music production DAW, and a game client all open at once. The extra headroom also future-proofs you for upcoming titles that start to lean more heavily on RAM. That said, DDR5 pricing is still higher than DDR4, so you're paying a premium for performance that most gamers won't fully exploit today. Storage-wise, the 1TB NVMe SSD is a real time saver. Load screens in open-world games drop from several seconds to under a second, and the SSD's PCIe 4.0 interface means large game installs copy over in a flash. If you're the type to keep a library of games on a single drive, you'll appreciate the space, but if you're looking to add a second drive later, check the case's drive bays. You'll find at least one 2.5-inch slot, but space for a larger 3.5-inch HDD is limited. Power and cooling are often the hidden trade-offs in a pre-built. The Archangel 5 ships with a 750W80 plus gold PSU, which is generous for the components inside and gives you room to upgrade the GPU down the line without having to swap the power supply. The high-performance air cooler that comes with the Ryzen isn't a whisper-quiet solution, though. Under load you'll hear a steady fan hum that's audible in a quiet room, but it's not an obnoxious roar. If you're planning on marathon gaming sessions in a bedroom, you might want to consider adding a more silent aftermarket cooler, which the case can accommodate. Now, who should actually press add to cart? First, gamers who want solid performance at 1080p or decent 1440p without the headache of building a PC. The Archangel 5 gives you a balanced mix of CPU muscle and GPU capability that covers the current game catalog and the next couple of years of releases. It's also a good fit for content creators who need extra RAM and a fast SSD for editing 1080p footage while keeping an eye on game performance. The built-in Wi-Fi AC is a nice touch for anyone who can't run an Ethernet cable, and the lack of bloatware means you can start gaming right out of the box. On the flip side, if you're a hardcore 4K gamer who